We are rolling with part two of the birthday celebration of uh of Canadian wrestler Owen James Hart. We're going to 1998, 1999 when Owen Hart is teaming up with Double J Jeff Jarrett. That's what he's teaming up with. That's what he's teaming up with. Double J Jeff Jarrett. The Blue Blazer, the Blue Blazer gimmick that was coming back. That was returning to fruition. Owen Hart remained with the Nation of Domination throughout the year until the stable slowly dissolved. After SummerSlam, he teamed with Double J Jeff Jarrett, who's now working for AEW. Hart and Jarrett had Jarrett's manager, Deborah Marshall. Well, it had to be Deborah. Well, her real name's Deborah Marshall, by the way. She was in their corner. You know what I mean? Look at this woman. She has some meat on her ass anyway. Nothing but ass meat. Yeah, yeah. Deborah is in their corner, man. Who is managing Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett. Used to be during this time in the storyline was proposed that Hart was supposed to have an on-screen affair with Deborah, who was managing them, something which have Owen had turned down. Owen had to turn that down, bro. Owen had to turn that down, man. After a match in which Hart accidentally injured Dan Severn. I'll show you this, man. Dan Severn. Well, he used to work for the WWE, and later he's working for UFC, and then he's a UFC legend. Hart seemingly wanted to quit the WWF, playing off the legitimate injury Hart had inflicted on Austin the year before. The angle blurred the lines between reality and storyline. Yet, as soon as Hart quit, the Blue Blazer appeared in the WWF, claiming to in no way be Hart, despite it being very obvious who was under the mask. Unlike the first run of the character, the Blazer was now an overbearing, self-righteous heel who treated the edgy attitude era WWF with disdain. Hart and Jarrett ended up making the storyline more comical than it seemed to be. Why they ended up making the storyline more comical? Even to prove that Hart was not the Blazer. He showed up beside the Blue Blazer, who was a masked Jarrett, in a later attempt to prove that neither Hart or Jarrett was the Blazer. They both appeared next to a man in a blue blazer mask. However, it was obvious that a black man was under a mask, who had to be Hart's former tag team partner. You guessed it, Coco Beware. Coco Beware. On January 25th, 1999, in the midst of the Blue Blazer angle, Hart and Jarrett defeated Ken Shamrock and the Big Boss Man, who had to be Raymond Trailer Jr. Had to be Raymond Washington Trailer Jr. Well, that's after he was Big Bubba Rogers on NWA and WCW programming. That was for the WWF Tag Team Championship. The pair successfully defended the belts against Test and D'Lo Brown. Against Test and D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown included at what is it WrestleMania? WrestleMania what? XV I think. They lost the titles. They lost the titles to the team of Kane and X Pac. The pre-taped episode of Raw that aired on April 5th, 1999. However, Hart and Jarrett continued to team together until Hart's death in May, uh, the 23rd of that year, during the Over the Edge pay-per-view event. Now we're going to the personal life here. We'll go jump into the personal life here. And then we're going to go to Hart met Martha Joan Patterson, who had to be Martha Joan Patterson Hart. Well, she's a researcher now, so Hart met Patterson in '82. They married they married on July 1st of 1989, and they had two children together. One was O.J. Edward Hart, who was born on March 5th of 1992, and Athena Christie Hart, who was born on September 23rd, 1995. On May 28th, 2011, Hart was inducted into the Legends Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame by Jack Blaze in Wheeling, West Virginia, at their LPW Heart and Soul tour event. The award was accepted by his brother-in-law, the late Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who was also inducted that night. Let's go to his death for a minute. Let's go to the death thing for a minute, which there's no thing goes on. Go to the story we had to find. Yep, Over the Edge, 1999. See also Over the Edge, 1999. Owen Hart accident and was already been there. This pay-per-view was out before Owen died. We're going to May 23rd, 1999. Is right on it, on that date. Hart fell to his death in Kansas City, Missouri, during the Over the Edge pay-per-view event. Hart was in the process of being lowered by a harness and grapple line into the ring from the Raptors of Kemper Arena. Kemper what arena of what was up Kemper Arena, yeah, for a booked Intercontinental Championship match against the Godfather himself, Charles Wright. In in keeping with what the Blazers' new buffoonish superhero character, he was begin he was to begin a dramatic entrance, being lowered to just above ring level, at which time he would act entangled, then release himself from the safety harness and fall flat on his face, for the comic effect. The comic effect. This necessitated. This had necessitated. This necessitate this. What's the word? This necessitated the use of a quick release mechanism. It was an elaboration on a Blue Blazer stunt that was done previously on the inaugural Sunday Night Heat uh, show before the Survivor Series in 1998. While being lowered into the ring, Hart fell 78 feet, 24 landing chest first on the top rope, approximately a foot from the nearest turnbuckle, turnbuckle, throwing him into the ring. Hart had performed the stunt only a few times before Hart's widow Martha Joan Patterson Hart has suggested that by moving around to get comfortable with both the harness and his cape on, Hart Hart unintentionally triggered an early release. Television viewers did not see the incident during a fall. A pre-taped vignette was was being shown on the pay-per-view broadcast as well as on the monitors in the darkened area afterward while Hart was being worked on by medical personnel in the ring. The live events broadcast showed by only the audience. Meanwhile, WWF television announcer James William Ross, who was now working for AEW, who used to be who used to be calling matches on WWF television, uh, repeatedly told those who were watching live on pay per view that what had just transpired was not a wrestling angle or storyline that Hart was hurt badly, emphasizing the seriousness of the situation. Hart was transported to Truman Medical Center in Kansas City, while several attempts to revive him were made. He died due to his injuries. The cause of death was was later revealed to be internal bleeding from the blunt force trauma. The impact severed his aorta, resulting in Hart bleeding to death. Just minutes later, he was 34 years old. He was 34 years old when he died. WWF management controversially controversially chose to continue the event. Later, Jim Ross announced the death of Hart to the home viewers during the pay-per-view, but not to the crowd in the arena. While the event went on, while the event went on, it has never been released commercially by WWF Home Video. But in 2014, 15 years later after his death, the WWE Network aired the event for the first time. A small photo tribute is shown before the start, informing fans that Hart died during the original broadcast. All footage of Hart was edited out of the event. The statement reads in memory of Owen Hart, May 7, 1965, May 23rd, 1999, who accidentally passed away during this broadcast. In the decades that followed Hart's death, much attention was focused on the harness Hart used that night, especially on the quick release trigger and safety latches. When someone is lowered from the rafters in a harness, there are backup latches. There were backup latches, latches that must be latched for the safety purposes. 4 weeks, 4 weeks after the event, the Hart family, along with Martha, Joan Patterson Hart, has sued the WWF over how dangerous and poorly planned the stunt was, and that the harness system was defective. It was defective. It was so beyond defective. After over a year, after over a year and a half into the case, a settlement reached on November 2nd, 2000. November 2nd, 2000. That settlement was completely reached, which has saw the WWF. They paid the Hart family the assess of $18 million in United States currency. $18 million in United States currency. The manufacturer of the harness system was also a defendant against the Hart family, but they were dismissed from the case. From the case after the settlement was reached. Martha used millions of the settlement to establish the Owen Hart Foundation. Martha wrote a book about Hart's life in 2002 called Broken Hearts: The Life and Death of Owen Hart. In his DVD set, Bret Hart said that he wishes that he had been with the WWF that the night Owen's accident happened. He could have been with the company, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there when Owen's accident happened, as he would have discouraged his brother from performing that Blue Blazer stunt. A special episode of a special episode of Raw's War that aired on May 24th, 1999, the night after Hart's untimely passing. His death was dubbed Raw's Owen. It was dubbed Raw is Owen. It was broadcast from the Kiel Center in St. Louis, Missouri. It included shoot interviews from his fellow wrestlers. According to Raw Exposed, a special that aired upon Raw returning to USA Network on October 3rd, 2005. All storylines and rivalries were put aside, and WWF management gave all wrestlers on the roster the option of working or not. Nevertheless, 10 matches were booked with no angles, not even a lick of angles. The show had begun with all the wrestlers, managers, referees, and agents of the WWF except WWF champion The Undertaker and Kane, both as a means to keep kayfabe. Standing on the entrance ramp, Howard Finkel, who had later passed away, called for a 10-bell salute. A tribute video narrated by Vince McMahon then played on the Titantron. Throughout the broadcast, personal thoughts on Hart in the form of shoot interviews with various WWF wrestlers were played. Hart's former Nation of Domination comrades were emotional, most notably Mark Henry. Mark Henry, who is now working for AEW, who wept as he read a poem that he wrote in memory of Hart before the first commercial break. Such thoughts were aired from Mick Foley and Bradshaw. Foley said that Hart uh, was his son's favorite wrestler and had proudly gotten a haircut like Owen's. Although also said his son did not quite understand the nugget. That nugget was not a term of endearment. Bradshaw talked Bradshaw talked about how Hart spent less money on the road. Like money. He spent less money on the road than most wrestlers because he wanted to retire early and spend time with his family. Owen's friend and nation domination partner, The Rock, also made a short speech before engaging in a short match against Val Venus. Test then spoke about a rib Owen pulled on him. Owen pulled on him. The broadcast ended with Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out. Oh, we pull it out. Yeah, it ended with Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out for a special salute to Hart by climbing the turnbuckle and performing his famous beer bash routine, ending with him giving a toast to Owen, whose picture was displayed on the Titantron throughout the entire show, and leaving one beer in the ring for Owen. The tribute show scored a 7.2 Nielsen rating, making it the highest rated special episode in Raw history, and the third highest rated episode of Raw overall. Shawn Michaels, in his heartbreaking triumph autobiography, notes that his heartbreaking triumph autobiography that notes that Owen is the only guy you could have a 2 hour show for, and no one would say a bad word about him. The next day, the WWF taped the episode of Raw for May 31st, 1999. This is before I was, I explained this. I was out of high school that around the new summer, 1999. This before the P Funk concert that George Clinton that did in Rome, New York, in July of that year. During that show, Jeff Jarrett defeated the Godfather to win the WWF Intercontinental Championship. The title Hart was booked to win for a third time at Over the Edge. Celebrating his victory, Jarrett screamed Hart's name on October 4th, 1999. 5 months after Owen's death, Bret Hart faced Chris Benoit in WCW Nitro in a tribute to his brother. In a tribute to his brother, the match took place in the same arena in which Owen fallen to his death. In 2017. In 2017, James Ross referred to Hart's death as the single most shocking moment he he had ever witnessed in wrestling. We're going to the legacy right here. Hart was widely regarded. Let me see how I'm gonna say this. Hart was widely regarded as one of the best in-ring performers. Let me say this. Owen James Hart. He was widely regarded as one of the best in-ring performers in the WWE. Fox Sports dubbing him as quote unquote genius. He would go on to be considered one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time by many industry colleagues. Hart's sister Diana Smith released her first book, Under the Mat, which dealt with their family. The book was written partially in response to Owen's death and become very controversial. Owen's widow Martha Hart pursued legal action over the work and claiming that Diana made inaccurate and irresponsible statements about her and her family. She stated that the book was filled with distortions, misstatements, and unjustified slurs. That that attempt to destroy the reputation of my family. That's what Diana would say. And me, and undermine the memory of Owen. In June 2010, Martha filed a lawsuit against the WWE over WWE's use of Owen's name and likeness, as well as personal photos of Hart's family in the Heart and Soul WWE DVD, as well as the future as a failure to make royalty payments out of. The matter was scheduled to go to trial in June of 2013 before the settlement was reached in April of that year for an undisclosed amount. The WWE released Owen Hart of Gold on DVD and Blu-ray on December 7th of 2015 in the UK, and what the US released the day after. The season two finale of Dark Side of the Ring, which was completely used to be aired on Vice, but it's now on Tubi. So now it's now on Tubi though. It's already gone. It's already gone from uh and it's already on Tubi. So it reveals the details about Owen's wrestling career, legacy, and death. WWE wrestler Kevin Steen, WWE wrestler Kevin Yannick Steen, who's also known as Kevin Owens, also known as Kevin Owens, named his son after Hart and incorporated the name into his own ring name as a tribute to the both of them. Tribute to the both of them. As you see, what we're saying is as a tribute. Why would Kevin Owens name his son after Owen Hart, and he's incorporating the name into his own ring name as a tribute to the both of them? During Mark Henry's WWE Hall of Fame speech in the not in the Hall of Fame speech during Mark Henry's WWE Hall of Fame induction in 2018, Henry started asking Martha Hart to allow her late husband to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Martha has been critical of the WWE Hall of Fame, stating that they don't even have a hallway fame. They don't even have a hallway of fame. It doesn't exist. There's nothing. It's a fake entity. There's nothing real or tangible. It's just an event. They have to make money. They put it on TV and have a celebration, and it's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I would never entertain it. It's garbage. On September 20th of 2021, this is after my aunt had passed away, on August 29th of 2021. AEW announced the Owen Hart Cup tournament in partnership with the Owen Hart Foundation, wherein the winner will receive a trophy called the Owen. The company also announced production and distribution of the original Owen Hart merchandise and Hart as a character in AEW's upcoming console game AEW Fight Forever. Got accomplishments here. Okay, we got all the stuff. We got all the accomplishments that Owen had. Uh, we got this from Luke. There's his Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Here's a posthumous inductee, LPW Hall of Fame 2011. He was PWA Hall of Fame 2010, uh, Editors Award in 99, Field of the Year with his brother Brad in 94, Rookie of the Year in the late 80s. Uh, he was top ranked number 10 on the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 1994, ranked number 66 on the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI years in '03. This is all the accolades that Owen Hart had. Man, all the shit that he held. Yeah, he held the WWF. He held the tag titles 4 times. One with Yokozuna, one with the British Bulldog. They both rest in peace, and one with the with Jeff Jarrett who was alive. Look at all the shit that he have. Yeah, they're all happening there with these things. Oh, I'm finished with that. I'm finished with this shit. I'm finished with this now. I'm gonna find myself in it. Yeah, it's done. That's it. That's it for that's it for a 2-part live show. It's based on the birthday celebration and the legacy of that man right there, Owen James Hart. And this let me explain you this here. This live show right here is dedicated to the memory of Owen James Hart, born in May 7th, 1965, and died on May 23rd, 1999. That was in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and what is it? Kansas City, Missouri, at the Kemp Arena. God, I miss him. God, I miss Owen Hart. I miss everything. I miss everything this man represents. His whole life is always dedicated to the business. AEW Double or Nothing. Around late this month, they go start the Owen Hart they go start the Owen Hart Foundation's Owen Cup or something. They go start that tournament. That was in the memory of Owen Hart. Hold on, let me go type. Oh well, I'm not going to stream yet. I gotta I gotta I gotta memorialize him just like I did earlier. I had to memorialize this man before I had to leave this I had to memorialize this man before I had to be on hiatus again. Oops, wrong one. Fuck. I had to memorialize Owen Hart. Owen Hart, I had to memorialize him just like I did once. Now I had to do it again. See you guys on the 21st of this month with it started with three live shows. One based on Raymond Burr, who was known as the Perry Mason character back in the day, back in the 60s. One based on the legacy of the Notorious B.I.G. It was part 2 of it. It started with me going through his Wikipedia page. And the third one based on Brian Pillman. Yeah, the flying Brian. I had to say it like Brian said it. Back in '96, what he did is he did Cuz little promo. I think it was back in like '96. This after he was in ECW. The only way I can do is keep those memories alive on May 21st. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep those legacies alive by doing these live shows. I'm about to be off. I'm about to be on the hiatus before I'm gonna get my iPhone and my speaker out. And we're ready to end this live stream here. This live stream here is dedicated into the memory of Canadian professional wrestler Owen James Hart. Born on May 7, 1965 in Calgary, Alberta, and died in St. Louis, Missouri on May 23rd, 1999.